Yes, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing good today. We'll be going through the comments today. All right. I've not been on any. I've been focusing on other things in the last week or two. So thank you for your patience and support. But hope everyone is good anyway. I wasn't going to do a video, I'll be honest, because again, I've got stuff I need to do. But I thought a big game like this. What not only is it a Yorkshire derby, it's a Yorkshire derby at the top of the league. You know what I mean? And there's rivalry there. There's a bit of bite there, and it's near the end of the season where it's big, and you can pull away from third. There's things to talk about that I wanted to speak about. There's three things really, and the first one is the Farker situation. Not necessarily the fact he's been banned, because I think that's genuinely a travesty to football. And it makes no sense. I'm not going to get into it. It makes zero sense. Zero sense in any way, shape, or form. The rule is an absolute joke. Like, it genuinely goes against everything this sport is and what it represents. Literally, it's a joke. But anyway, the fact he's not there, and what does that mean? Does that affect the team? Does that affect the players? Now, there's many aspects that can affect this. And we actually remember having a long discussion about this at university. Now, football, although it being the most elite sport in the world, funnily enough, football is basically the only sport out there where the coach/manager is on the sideline, that close to the pitch. Like, it's very rare in many, many sports that that's the case. You know, obviously other sports like basketball and stuff like that there is. But it's very rare. And it's very strange. Because why is that the case? If these are the best athletes in the world, this is the most technically advanced game in the world, why is a manager needed on the sideline? You look at rugby, for example, cricket, even tennis, they're further back. Loads of sports, coaches are not usually there, and it's usually on the players. Whereas football, the players are probably the most protected in all sports in terms of the manager gets sacked really easily, right? It doesn't really happen in other sports. And it's interesting. But for me, I think it does impact it. But I think it depends on who you are. There's players out there who will like the fact that the manager is there, and they might need that little bit of instruction, that little bit of encouragement at times, just little details. They like his presence, they like him screaming as he's running down the line, go on, stuff like that. I was a guy who I actually enjoyed playing football when I was on the coach's side. If that makes sense. I played better, for me, when I was on that side, as opposed to the opposite side of the pitch, when I was either at full-back or wing. It's a really weird dynamic, and why is that, and what is the reason of that? Well, for one, it's comfort, and it's having a familiar figure there, right? Relaying information, giving you the messages you need to hear, who knows you, who knows how to get into you, who knows how to give information that will represent you and make you play better, right? That's basically what it is. It's like having a father around, or, when you go somewhere, you go to the dentist for the first time, you want someone to go with you, in my case, when I was young. You know what I mean? It's like having someone there, and it's that comfort when things do get tough, that you've got that person there, and it's about the energy as well, what that person brings. Now, Farker is relatively calm, but there's no doubt about it. You can just watch, he does get up, he does bring energy, he's always giving little instructions to certain players. So for some players, that might affect him. I don't know about these lot individually, I have no idea. But I'd always like it if the manager is there, always. For me, I prefer it. I think it's much better. He's part of the team. He is the kind of the puppet master in the team. He's the one giving the instructions. He's the one enforcing the instructions. It's important. But at the end of the day, if you've got a really close-knit, trusted coaching group that are always on the training ground, that are always around the players, that are always there, and you can relay information effectively, and that's the key part, you'll probably be fine. I know Farker's coaches they're very active on the training ground. They're always there. They're always involved. They're always talking. You always see them on the sideline. Domagala, for example, he's always there. He's always giving instructions. And it's just about the presence. You need the presence there for me. You need the control and the presence there over watching the game. And they just have to find a way to effectively relay information quickly. That's really important because that information could be the difference between defending a certain situation or creating a certain attack in a quick moment. It's very important. So yeah, that's that. It depends who you are. It depends what personality you are. For me, I like it. Some players don't care. It is what it is. As long as you do it effectively and you replace that presence with another presence or another two presences who can bring the same things he does, it's fine. Yeah, that's one thing. And the other thing is the game itself, because and look, although in every single game we go into this season, I believe we can win the game because I believe in this team and these players, and I think they're outstanding. I never ever underestimate an opponent. I can't help that. That's just because of the coaching background. I never do that. You get it gets drowned out of you in coaching to never underestimate an opponent, because trust me, I've lost some games where you've looked at the table before the game, or you've won a big game, and then you're so confident going into the game, so confident, and you get slapped 3 or 4-0. But I mean, that's happened many times at many levels. So you have to be, and that's as a player and as a coach as well. So you got to be humble as a player and as a coach, and that's kind of the mindset I'm in. I can't help it. That's just the way it is. Look, inside me, I'm going. Yeah, we can batter these. We can, of course, we can. We're Leeds United. This team is very good. We've seen that. So of course, I'm confident. There's a difference between being confident and praising an opposition and being wary of what they can do. Doesn't make me less confident than people that just scream how good we are. For me, it's the same. I'm extremely confident in this team because in my mind I've looked at the opposition and gone, yeah, we can do this, this, and this to beat them. If that makes sense. And I know we have the tools to do that. But the main thing that I think people are not really establishing is what they have in this game. So if they win this game, they go top the league. And if they win this game, they have the gap to third. And it's a derby. There's so many aspects that can make a team play better by 5, 10, 15%. That's the key part. If we go and we raise our game that much and they raise their game that much, we will probably win the game. But if we raise our game 2%, hardly anything, and they raise their game 10, 15%, and they're moving the ball quicker, they want it more, they're playing with energy. The entire crowd, by the way, will be there, full, loud, just like we were at Ellen Road. That pushes a team massively, and you gain confidence. And when you've got 11 players of talented footballers who are playing with confidence, extreme confidence, because the energy is there, the game is there, the occasion is there, it's very difficult, even if you're playing bottom of the league. That's why I never really want the game to go to the last game of the season when you're playing a relegation side who has something to play for, because if it's a good-knit group and they still believe in the coach, that is a hard, hard game because there's so much on the line. So I'm just hoping that this team can step up to that. And I think they can. But again, I caveat this. This is sport. This happens. All it can take is us to turn off for 10 minutes. Sheffield United up it for 10 minutes to get a goal in that 10 minutes. See the win out. It happens. Whereas we were the ones at home against Sunderland with the crowd, with the energy, with the expectancy. Now it's kind of on them. We're that other team trying to ruin the party. And we have to realise that. We have to get in that mindset. Because it's going to be loud. It's going to be loud. It's a big game. It is a big game. I mean, be all and end all is, the fact is, whatever happens in this game, we have a lot of winnable fixtures after it that you have to go win. Look, I think I did the maths, and I could be wrong here, but if we win 7 more games out of the next 13, just 7, half, like just over a 50% win rate, which we've done each season Farker's been here consistently, right? That's all we need to do. And we get 93 points. That's assuming you don't draw anything, right, as well, which you probably get 1 or 2 in there. Talking 94, 95. That's all we have to do. And we've been doing that for the last 2 years consistently. So that's all we've got to do. That's the task. Whatever happens in this game, just react to that with win, 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 win. Do you know what I mean? Just react to that with what we've been doing usually the last 2 years. Just do the same thing. That's all it is. That's how simple the game is. 13 games, win 6, maybe even 7. You're on 90 plus points. You get a few draws in there. You're looking up mid to late 90s. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? And it should be, because we've done it and we've shown consistency in doing that. But this is it. This is football, right? But this is just one game. It just is. After this game, regardless of what happens, win, lose, or draw, the 12 after it are bigger than this one. For momentum, for bragging rights, for proving to yourself that you are the best in the league, this is big. It is. As a spectacle for the fans, this is big. This is the one that gets the crowds going. This is the one that gets people talking. This is a huge game. But for them, they have to play with confidence. They have to expect. It might not happen. You have to expect that they will up their game because of all those things I just spoke about. You have to expect it, and that's the key thing. And if they don't slip. Keep your expectations that high. Do not drop. And if you do that, you've got a great chance of winning the game. Then after the game, you're looking at the last 12 games going, now we've just got to do what we've been doing. Don't lose your mindset. Don't get over. If you lose, don't get too down. If you win, don't get too high. Stay here. Stay confident, but stay calm and stay ready to react to the next game. Because all you've got to do is to keep doing what you've been doing for 2 years. That's the simple instruction. I think that's what Fark was kind of mentioning in his press conference. With this game, of course, it's a big spectacle, but it's just one game. And it is the result of it, regardless of all the craziness around the game that will happen regarding the result, it is still just 3 points. You know, it ain't more than that. So for us, we have to be at this level and don't drop, regardless of if Sheffield United do this or they stay low. It don't matter to me. We have a standard to set, and we've got to want this. We've got to deliver it more than they do. That's all I'm asking, you know. So, and then there's a 12, and real focus on the 12, because all you've got to do is do what you've been doing. It's a tough. Last 10 games are always interesting. Yeah, and we saw last year. We're a different team this time. And anyway, the final one I want to talk about is the captain, Ampadu, because again, I've been mentioning this for a few weeks now, and I am going to do a video on Ampadu next week, actually, after the Sheffield United game, regardless of what happens in that game. I'm probably going to do a video on him, because I think it's ridiculous the criticism he's getting. I've seen every game, every single player make mistakes like that. A player scores from a mistake, it's worse. The fact of the matter is, mistake all over the pitch is the same action, it's the same movement, it's the same decision. There's just a goal next to you. And that's the one that gets highlighted. If I've got a winger and he's going at his man every 30 seconds and he's losing it 9 times out of 10, he's lost his team 9 out of 10 possessions. That's terrible. That's a problem. If a defender makes a mistake positionally, you can look at it and work on it. It's fine. Doesn't happen. How many times did it happen in this season? That's probably the only time. Strouk's been turned 3 times, by the way, like that. So it happens. It happens. I've seen wildness about Ampadu. Wildness, honestly, all things about him. Not been good enough in this team, not even been good enough for the Premier League. Look, none of these players, none of them, none, are proven in the Premier League. None of them. Not one. Hope that's clear. 0. They're not. They're playing in the Championship. All of them. Live or not. They're playing for Leeds in the Championship. None of them are proven in the Prem. None of them. I think some of them look, just from the attributes and the way they play, like they can adapt better to the Premier League. I think Ampadu is one of them. Again, I'll do a video next week on that. Tanaka, another one. Honestly, no idea. No idea. No one knows. Do you know what the best thing about the step up to the Premier League is? You have no idea who's going to make it. You can look at so many teams that get promoted each year, and it's the ones you don't expect to have a good season in the Prem. Have a good season in the Prem. Look at every promoted team every year, and there's 2 or 3 in the Championship that were all right, that are stepping up and going, oh, they're good footballers. And it's the ones that you think, oh, maybe you're going to be better in the Premier League that don't do that. No one knows. This is the thing. The gap between the Championship and the Premier League are so different. So different. Because between the Championship and Premier League, tell you what you've got. The levels between there and there are... So, for example, I'll give this an example. When you mention Lefebvre or Edwards, who are European footballers, teams that can play in Europe, players that can play in Europe, everyone goes, yeah, but Lefebvre got back-pocketed by Bogle. Bogle could play in Europe. Bogle could play in Europe. Bogle could do that. He could play for a decent French team side, a decent Spanish team side, a decent team in the Eredivisie, you know. He couldn't do that. Trust me. We've only seen him in the Premier League, which, as a league, is higher than all of them. Better, higher standard. So saying someone's a European footballer doesn't mean they'll make it in the Premier League, but it means that they could play in Europe. You know, in a good top league in Europe. Because they're between the Premier League and the Championship. There's so many levels. It's a huge step. A lot of our players could play in Europe. Bundesliga, all of them. Tanaka could easily slot into the Bundesliga for a decent team there. Of course he could. No, like I mentioned, Bogle, easily. Of course he could. Firpo could go to Spain and play for a decent team in Spain. He could. You know? It's all about that step up and how players react to that. And that's the difficult part. No one knows who will. Even they don't know. You know, genuinely, who would have thought, right? Who out of you guys would have thought that he was good in the Championship season? Patrick Bamford scored, I think, the 16 goals that were vital. But the season after, who'd have thought he'd have stepped up that much? So many players, like Marcy at Ipswich, plays almost every minute. I hadn't checked in a few weeks, but did. Stepped up. So many players do it, you don't expect. So many, there's levels. There's levels, absolute levels. And this is why, you know, they're saying they won't work in the Prem. You have no idea who will work in the Prem. None of us do. None of us do. We're not signed for the Prem. We've signed 7 or 8 levels below the Prem. That's how big it is. In terms of league, there's probably 7 or 8 leagues between us and the Premier League. It's huge. So yeah. Jacob Ampadu, I think, is absolutely key to this team. Absolutely key. And I don't get how people don't see that. And then this is the thing, right? This is the thing, and I'm going to make a point here. Well, just make the point. Why am I saying I'm going to make a point here? Just say it, you know what I mean? Rothwell, I watched the last 20 minutes when he came on. His role, I put it like this, but it's true. In his role, he didn't do much different to what was on before. Go watch the last 20 minutes. It was very deep, but the same passes. There was one drive he did forward. That was it. But what he was brought on for, he wasn't brought on for that. He wasn't brought on. If I could even mention his presser, he wasn't brought on to change the game structurally. He wasn't. The structure was fine. The problem was the crossing. He said that. We were getting balls into the box. They weren't good crossers. We weren't making them on set pieces. He said that. Barker mentioned it. He didn't bring him on to change the game structurally. And that didn't happen. He didn't change the game structurally. The first one was a set piece. Unbelievable ball. That's what he got brought on for. The second one, unbelievable bit of skill from a corner. Took his man on, crossed the ball into the box. Great ball. That's what he got brought on for. And that's what the manager mentioned. He didn't change the game structurally. Positionally, it was exactly the same as Gruev. Exactly the same. Or Tanaka. Exactly. It was beyond. It was deep. It was very deep. And he was just playing balls wide. Go watch it. Last 20 minutes. Trust me, it's exactly the same. And this is the thing. And Ampadu came on. Ampadu went into midfield. His position did change. And we saw more aggression than the other two guys. Ampadu was the reason we would keep the ball in their defence for a long time was based on Ampadu's positional play because he was so high. Watch how high he is. A lot of the time he was higher than Rothwell because if I could change that, he wanted that aggression in there. And he brought it and he couldn't get out. And he made 4 or 5 fouls to stop them coming out and they couldn't get out. So yeah, just a little thing. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Big game coming up. Can't wait. I'm excited. I will get on the comments very soon. I've just honestly This people got like I know I get people saying this isn't a job for me. This isn't all right. So I'll do it when I have time from work. But thank you for everyone. Genuinely, I've got a blocked nose, so I'm speaking a bit strange. But see you guys in a bit. Hey, nervy times, nervy times. Bye.